Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum, my third secondary students. Welcome to the second semester of Dروس online. Today we start with your final unit, which is unit 6, and as you can see we have listening, vocabulary, grammar, and it's all taken from your book Traveler 6. So let's get started. As usual, we'll start with what we learned today. Are three objectives. 1, to apply the listening skill. 2, to practice using the words easily confused correctly. And 3, to use the comparison forms in sentences correctly. So for number 1, get your headphones ready. You're gonna listen to something first, and then we're gonna ask questions about the conversation. And it's all about unit 6, which is about how we prepare you to get a good experience by choosing a good job for your future. And for number 2, we're going to practice using the words easily confused correctly. You know, we got some words in English that they have different meanings and different grammar functions in some sentences, so we'll see the meanings. And as for number 3, we're going to get some grammar, which is about how we use the comparative adjectives and the superlative adjectives. So let's get started with the listening. Okay, you're going to hear forensic science.
The field of forensic science has gained a lot of popularity in the last decade. Here to provide us with an insight into forensic science as a career is leading forensic scientist Dr. Robert Saunders. Welcome to the show.
Good evening, and thank you.
Dr. Saunders, is forensic science a glamorous career, as some people imagine?
It depends how you see it. While our staff are certainly experts in their fields, they are not knowledgeable about every subject. Forensic scientists do not manage to solve crimes in a matter of minutes, as some people may think. Searching and examining the scene of a crime for clues to support a criminal case is a slow, painstaking process. Forensic scientists also often have to work very unsociable hours. For instance, you might be called to examine a crime scene at 2 a.m. on a freezing cold winter's night and have to spend hours outside going over the scene looking for anything that might help solve the crime.
How would you define forensic science?
Forensic science is the application of the field of science to the law. We use the science part to solve crimes. The evidence that we collect is analyzed and then presented in a court of law so the jury can make a decision about the guilt or innocence of a person. This aspect of the job is the most satisfying, because that's when you realize that all the hours of hard work you have spent on a case have really been worth it. As a forensic scientist, you are doing the public a service, and that gives you a great sense of achievement.
Okay, and what qualities does one need to be a forensic scientist?
To work in forensics, you need to have a good background in science and a lot of patience and perseverance. Also, you need to be a good communicator, both orally and in writing, because you may have to appear in front of a jury and explain complex scientific ideas in layman's terms. You should be a team player, as you will work closely with the police, other forensic scientists, and crime officers.
And what qualifications and experience are needed to become a forensic scientist?
The minimum qualification required is a science degree. You don't have to study a forensic science degree. However, many universities are now offering forensic science as an undergraduate course. Competition for forensic jobs is fierce. We had 500 applicants this year for entry-level positions, and we were only able to take on 10. What can make you stand out from the crowd is relevant work experience in a lab. I can't stress this enough. If you are serious about a career in this area and you don't already have some lab experience, you should be thinking about arranging to do this as soon as possible. A good option is to volunteer your services to a local scientific laboratory in your area.
And what about career prospects?
In terms of career prospects, forensic science encompasses many different areas, and due to its interdisciplinary nature, there are many career options available. You can work for the police force, in private labs, or teach.
So as you just listened, it was a kind of forensic science which is about, crime scene investigation. I remember when I was young, I wanted to be this, but I ended up a teacher. But nowadays, this is a very good branch of, science, which people really can find too many, job opportunities when they apply to it, as the man said. So we just heard it's a radio program about forensic science, and how he offered advices for those who want to study this branch. So as third secondary students, whatever you choose to study, you need to have some information about some job skills. What do they need, and if you have them or not. So as always, after we hear something, we got some evaluation. So we got an activity, which is complete the following sentences with a word. We need one word. Dr. Sanders admits that the what can sometimes be very inconvenient. The what, that's something that can be sometimes very inconvenient to the process of searching and examining the crime scene is what? What is that process? Is it good, nice, slow, patient? 3, Dr. Sanders explains the forensic scientists apply scientific techniques to what? To the what? 4, serving gives forensic scientists a sense of achievement. So as for number 1, Dr. Sanders admits that the hours can sometimes be very inconvenient, because he said that they might call you up and wake you up at 2 a.m. for some crime scene investigation. 2, the process of searching and examining the crime scene is slow. You have to be patient. You have to be very patient and careful. Also, Dr. Sanders explains that forensic scientists apply scientific techniques to what? To the law, because you might stand up in a jury or in a court. You can work with police officers, investigator, too many people. So you need to understand the law. And finally, serving the public gives forensic scientists a sense of achievement. Many of them, remember, we still have series about crime scene investigation with the CSI, and also I remember you remember something funny from cartoons like Conan and Inspector Gadget and so on. So now let's jump to vocabulary. We know that in English we got too many words. They have the same meaning, or sometimes they are very close in meaning. We call them that these multiple meaning words, they do some confusion to us. For example, the book has been illustrated by one of the most popular artists of our time. So what does the word illustrated? It's very close to portrait and sketch and depict. They almost all have the same meaning, but they're still different in context. So the book has been illustrated by one of the most popular artists of our time. 2, the people and events that are portrayed in a book are totally fictitious. 3, she liked to sit on her balcony and sketch the view of a marketplace below. And 4, his paintings often depict life in rural England. So illustrated is something like something that illustrated by somebody. It means he gave some kind of summary or review about the book. Portrait is just like to draw an image of characters, like what they say, the people or the characters and events are portrayed in the book are totally unreal, fictitious. So portrayed is just like when you have imagination in your head. To sketch is to draw. Also, sketch and depict is different, but it's different in the only difference is in the kind of drawing. So let's put them into sentences and see if we can choose the correct word to complete the following sentences. 1, in her free time, she likes to what? landscapes. To portray landscape, to sketch, to illustrate or illustrated or depict. 2. Many of John Constable's paintings, what? Portray, sketch, illustrated, depict the landscape of the area surrounding his home. And finally, 3. The cooking magazine was portrayed, was sketched, was illustrated, or was depicted with photos taken during the cooking lessons. So in her free time, she likes to, number 2, to sketch landscape, which is to draw landscape in her free time. It's just like to copy them in drawing. 2. Many of John's Constable's painting. Number 4, depict the landscape of the area surrounding his home. And finally, the cooking magazine was portrayed with, illustrated with photos taken during the cooking lessons, and portray is the extra word. So we got number 1, 2, likes to sketch landscape, and number 2 we got 4, paintings depict the landscape, and for number 3, the cooking magazine was illustrated with photos taken during the cooking lessons. Now let's jump off to grammar. You've been taking this in the middle school and over in the high school about the comparisons. We know that if you say sentence, Ahmed is tall. So Ahmed is a subject, is a verb, tall is adjective. So tall here is talking about one person, which is Ahmed. So it's an adjective. But if I have someone who's taller than Ahmed, or maybe shorter than Ahmed, now we have comparison. Why? Because we have 2. We have Ahmed and Ali, for example, okay? So Ahmed is tall, so Ahmed is 170 centimeters, but Ali is 175 centimeters, so he is 5 centimeters taller than Ahmed. So I can say Ahmed is tall, Ali is taller than Ahmed, and you can say Ahmed is shorter than Ali. So smaller, bigger, bad, worse, good, better, short, shorter, nice, nicer, slow, slower. These are comparisons of 2 people. But what if you have somebody who's 180 centimeters and he's, you keep comparing two people, Ahmed, Ali, Ahmed, Samir, Ahmed, Khalid, but there is Abdullah. Abdullah is 180 centimeters, so we say this is superlative. He's the super, so it means he's the tallest. So when you have comparison, we have 2 people, we have than, big, bigger, than, slow, slower than. But if you have the superlative form or the final form, we say, instead of taller as a comparison, we say tallest, slowest, nicest, fastest, and so on. And as for the, some exceptions, like good is an adjective, better is comparison, the best is superlative. It's the same with, some irregular comparative forms and some superlative forms, like, good, better, the best. And also superlative, irregular superlative form like bad, good, okay? Good also is, irregular. So we have good, better, best, and we have bad, worse, and the worst. So, and also for some short adjectives, we have big, bigger, and superlative biggest. Okay, slow, slower, the slowest. Let's take an example for short adjectives and long adjectives. For short adjectives, the dog is big, or it is big. So big here is an adjective. But if we compare 2 things like cow and a dog, now we have comparison. Comparison with who? Dog and the cat. So we say the cow is bigger, and you have to double the G for adjectives or short adjectives that are 1 consonant. So the cow is bigger than the dog. And if you can see, the elephant is the biggest animal. So the dog is big, the cow is bigger than the dog, and the elephant is the biggest. This applies for short adjectives like fast, big, slow, nice, all right? But if you have long adjectives which are 3 and more syllables, like beautiful, difficult, okay, crowded, and so on. So we say physics is difficult. Some people find physics is difficult. Difficult is an adjective, but it's a long adjective. So let's compare English and physics. Now we have comparison because we are comparing English to physics. So English is more difficult. So I don't add anything here, no ER. Just write more before the adjective and leave the long adjective. Don't touch it. So English is more difficult than physics. But some people would say, finally, mathematics is the most difficult one. Also here you don't change anything, but you write the most difficult one. Let's take another example, which is about, okay, short, shorter, big, bigger, the biggest, the shortest. What if I have the same thing? Sometimes people, they have the same, height. They have, you can find Abdullah is 170, centimeters, and Khalid is also the same, is 170 meters. Most of the time, twins have the same, they're tall as the same. So what do we do if we have exactly the same? It's easy. Just put as before any adjective, then put any adjective, long, short, no problem, and don't change it, and put as after it. So there is an adjective in the middle. Before the adjective there is as, and after adjective there is as. For example, Sammy, look at Sammy, is as tall as Fahd. This is Sammy here. He's exactly as tall as Fahd. You can see him? So I put as here, adjective, no matter short or long, as someone else. So this is equal comparison. So when I say Sammy is as tall as Fahd, it means they are the same. Now, look at Badr. He's very short, and look at Sammy. So I say, Badr is not as tall as Sammy. Actually, he is almost half height of Sammy. Now let's put this in some kind of practice. Now let's rewrite the sentences using the word given. So we have best, not, and than. Let's put this word in a sentence. Of course, best is replaced by better, and see how we can fix the sentence. I give up. I can't do any better than this. How do you change it using the word best? You can say, I give up. This is the best I can do. It means I can't do any better. It's the same, okay? If you say I can't do any better, or this is the best I can do, it's almost the same. 2, the documentary was less interesting than I expected. Not. So you put more interesting, less expecting, not interesting as I expected. So the documentary was not as interesting as I expected. We use the equal, but in negative. Was not as interesting, was less interesting. 3, the rescue operation was not as difficult as they thought in the beginning. So as difficult or than, now we have comparative. More difficult than or easier. So we say easier than. The rescue operation was easier than they thought in the beginning. So that was all for today. So what we've done today we learned some vocabulary, words that they have, multiple meanings. And I always urge you to go and check them in a dictionary, like portray, sketch, illustrate, and also some grammar about how we use comparative adjectives and superlative adjectives with long adjectives and short adjectives. And there are some irregular comparative and superlative adjectives such as far, further, the furthest, good, better, best, and bad, worse, worst. And also how we use the equal comparison, which is as any adjective as good as bad as nice as interesting as beautiful as, or is not as good as, or is not as bad as. Here are the references taken from Traveler 6, which is your book, and some photos and pictures from Google Clip Art. And finally, for more information and lessons, you can visit our website, ain.egu.sa, and also follow us on Twitter for more information and updates. And finally, you can call us on this number for any technical help. That was all for today. Thank you for watching this. Until I meet you again, have a good day and salam.